Well, now we are joined by retired Marine intelligence officer and national security expert Hal Kempfer.
Hal, thank you so much for joining us this evening. And we want to start by looking back. The shooting 24 hours later, still obviously a lot of questions about security at the hotel, questions we asked you last night. The suspect even mocked what he considered a lack of security in what he wrote. What's your reaction to that? And should there have been tighter security at this particular hotel?
Well, Gio, the security, you have the hard security, the checkpoints, the screening stations, physical guards at doors and things like that. Then you have the softer security, which is outside. That's, a lot of times plain clothes or mingling. They're talking to people. They're coming up to people, asking for ID. And now they're going to be rethinking that because he kind of circumvented something. He actually checked in as a guest of the hotel the day before. So he belonged in the hotel. Didn't belong in that event, but he belonged in the hotel. So whenever he'd be stopped in the hotel, and they stopped anybody coming from outside at 2 p.m., but he belonged in the hotel, so he was a guest. So he was able to get quite far. Obviously, he couldn't get all the way because he did that mad dash, guns a-blazing, trying to get into the banquet room. But he did get pretty far, and I'm sure they're going to be looking at that saying, do we need to push that hard perimeter out even further?
Yeah, and this is now the third assassination attempt on President Trump in just 2 years. Does this Secret Service need to change protocol for public events?
Well, they may be starting to change protocol. I think they're going to really change protocol for the next White House Correspondents' dinner. But also, you saw after Butler, they really tightened up a lot of things. A lot of things you don't see, but they tightened up a lot. And also, one of the things they're looking at, which hasn't been discussed that much, was this wasn't a national security special event, but you had the first three members in the line of succession. The president, the vice president, and the Speaker of the House were all in the same room. That's a pretty big deal when you talk about continuity of government. They were all there. Secretary Rubio, as I understand, was there. So you had all these people very high up in the hierarchy. Only Senator Grassley wasn't there, the Senate Pro Tem. So they're going to have to rethink that because this has actually became I think, by de facto national security special event, even though it wasn't designated as such.
I have a quick follow-up to that, Hal, because you mentioned about Secret Service having to readjust, especially for the next White House Correspondents' dinner. The president yesterday said the plan would be to try and redo this event within 30 days. Is it feasible to get a new plan in place within 30 days, assuming that it does happen on the president's timeline, as he mentioned?
Oh, absolutely. That 30 days is plenty of time to plan for an event like this. Tighten up security. Really, a lot of it's just throwing more resources. Instead of just having the magnetometer screening station down there, you might push another thing upstairs where you double check people. You might do some. There's a lot of technology that could be employed to look at various guests and look at when they check in and things to see if they have anything. Maybe use more dog sweeps and stuff for guns or explosives. So there's a lot of things that can be done to tighten it up. Won't be so pleasant getting into that hotel for a while, but it can be done.
I want to get into the investigation on the suspect and a possible motive. We've seen FBI agents going door to door in the suspect's neighborhood in Torrance, speaking with neighbors. Walk us through the investigation here in Southern California specifically and what agents will be looking for, who they'll be talking to.
Well, obviously, any electronic device he has, a PC, phone, anything, tablets, whatever, any way that he was communicating electronically, any connection he has, they're going to look at who he was talking to, what social media he was on, what he was posting, who he was listening to. Obviously, they're reading closely his manifesto. They're reading closely any other writings that they found with him. They're looking at his residence, where he lived. They're looking around his residence. They're talking to everybody knows him, friends, family, acquaintances, classmates, anyone, to try and figure out, first what motivated him, but more importantly, who is he talking to? Is this just a one-off? Is he truly a lone wolf? Or was he maybe part of a virtual network of like-minded extremists that want to do things like this? That's important because that goes into the overall threat assessment. So that's what they're looking for right now.
Yeah, certainly a lot still left to uncover. Hal, thank you so much for giving us your time this evening, and we certainly appreciate it.
Thanks, Gio. Thanks, Leslie.